All right, there are 4 dimensions of a story's setting: period, duration, location, and level of conflict. Knowledge of and insight into the world of your story is fundamental to the achievement of originality and excellence. Robert Mckee. So oftentimes, writers fail to realize how crucial a story's setting is to the overall quality of the screenplay and its feature film. It's so important for indie filmmakers to know the ins and outs of a story setting in order to bend its setting to your will. In this video, you'll not only learn the 4 Ds of a story setting, but you'll also learn how to bend it to your will to increase the intensity of every single moment of your script. Hey everybody, Allan Northern here giving you filmmaking tips and tricks, and today we're going to talk about how to improve the overall quality of your screenplay. We are going to learn how to use the 4 dimensions of a story's setting. So if you're excited, please smash that like button. You know what's funny? 90% of you watching will not smash that like button, and I'm like, what do I have to do to get you to smash the like button? Like, take off my shirt? Like, what do you want? Anyway, it's important that you smash the like button because that'll spread this video all throughout the interweb. So please, smash the like button and let's get started. So once again, a story setting is 4-dimensional. First dimension is period. Second dimension is duration. Third dimension is location. And the 4th dimension is level of conflict. So let's start with the first dimension, period. Period is the story's place in time. Is your story set in modern times, the past, or a hypothetical future? So period is usually one of those elements that influences your film's overall style. Think about how different Stranger Things would be if it weren't set in the 1980s. So period can also influence and intensify the 4th dimension of the story setting, level of conflict. So if your story setting was set in the 1800s, for instance, and a creature was stalking your main character, your character's weapon of choice would obviously be impacted by time period. Also, time period dictates the diegetic music. What's diegetic? Diegetic sound is anything in your story that your characters can hear. Sound that comes from a person, place, thing, or object. Non-diegetic sound is any sound that originates outside the realm of the film. This could be post-production sound effects to intensify a moment, or the musical score of the film. So obviously the time period influences what our characters can hear, but it doesn't necessarily influence the non-diegetic music choices. As you can tell if you've watched HBO's Lovecraft Country, some of its musical score is certainly not from the 1950s. Story setting dimension 2. Duration. Duration is the amount of time the entirety of your feature film takes place over. Does your story take place over a course of a day, a week, a year, a month? Do certain sections of your screenplay have different durations? So you can use duration to your advantage in order to intensify a moment, to build tension, or to increase the intensity of the level of conflict. So let's say our heroes are crawling through a ventilation unit and there's a bomb, and one of our characters are trying to defuse it. We see that our hero only has 60 seconds to defuse the bomb before it goes off and kills all the characters in the ventilation unit. This is the simplest way to explain how duration can be applied to an object in order to intensify a moment. But you could also apply a short duration to a person, place, or thing in order to build the tension and increase the conflict in other ways. Let's say your character only has 24 hours to live. 24 hours to catch a killer, 4 hours to cram for his med school exam, 60 seconds to decide who your character should save. The possibilities are endless. Rules can also be created in your story in order to increase the duration, to bend the boundaries of reality, and give your characters more time to accomplish certain tasks, as we've seen in Inception. Also, if you've made it this far, odds are I'm doing a pretty good job, so please click that like button. It really helps me out. All right, next one. Dimension 3, location. Location is a story's place and physical space. It's the physical dimension. What's the geographical area? What street, what building, what room? Which planet, which army base, which mountain? So how can you use the film's location to improve the overall quality of your screenplay? Well, first, let's consider what are the stakes in this story, in this particular scene. Does the environment echo or emphasize what the characters are talking about? A lot of new independent filmmakers forget about this. Let's take The Brotherhood, for instance.
Think about it. Think about your brothers. How much safer they'd be if they had a normal life.
Here, Helene is describing what their future life could be like if they left this dangerous organization. We see the water and the pier going on for miles. Now, could the audience interpret the beauty in this scene to mean the endless possibilities in store for them if they were to just take a chance and leave the Brotherhood? Now imagine the same scene where the future of their lives hangs in the balance, occurring in a home's living room or basement. So this completely changes the substance behind the conversation. We, as the viewers, are going to interpret that information in a completely different way, and not necessarily in a good way. The audience might not even see the importance of why they're having the conversation to begin with. And this is because it's a crappy location they're having the conversation in. Because if we shot this same scene inside of a house, it would risk diminishing the importance of the entire conversation. Do you see what I'm getting at here? Let's take Star Wars The Force Awakens, for instance. The scene right before Han Solo's death. They're on this very little tiny, narrow platform, and beneath it, a bottomless pit of death. Here, Han Solo urges Kylo to come back home with him and to refuse the temptation of the dark side. This is a very important decision as it sets out to be a life-changing moment that alters Kylo Ren's future forever.
He was weak and foolish, like his father. So I destroyed him.
That's what Snoke wants you to believe. But it's not true. My son is alive.
No.
So why have this conversation on a tiny little narrow ledge of death? Well, perhaps it echoes the instability going on in Kylo's mind. The bottomless pit of death being interpreted as the actual death of any good part of Kylo Ren, as proven when Kylo chooses to kill his father, and Han falls into the pit. You think this location was chosen by accident? Come on. This location was clearly thought about and strategically placed in this film at this moment for that reason, and many other reasons that I don't even have time to mention. My point? Just be intentional about the placement of your story's locations. Simply put, use them as an extension of your storytelling. Dimension 4, level of conflict. So level of conflict is the story's position on the hierarchy of human struggles.
Oh, hello. Congratulations on Wimbledon.
You must be a Madeline.
Oh, gosh.
Danger. Oh, I'm ever so sorry.
We're sorry, we didn't mean to interrupt your game.
So for instance, Christopher Robin is at a much lower level of conflict than John Wick. The stakes are comparatively lower in Christopher Robin. This is the human dimension of the story setting. But that doesn't mean that Christopher Robin can't have multiple levels of conflict within the story. Who or what are your characters at war with? Are there political forces or ideologies that's making your MC's life a living hell? Does your characters face conscious or subconscious personal struggles? Is your MC in conflict with the actual environment itself? So now we know that the level of conflict differs from film to film. But just be sure that the level of conflict is at its peak in Act 3. Unless you want your climax to be in the middle, like Moonlight. Filmmaking struggles? Well, we can have a quick chat about it and schedule a Zoom meeting below. Just type interested and I'll grab your email and we'll get started. I also produced a film, it's called Brotherhood. It's actually on Amazon Prime Video right now, and so a lot of you guys have been wanting to see it. It was off Amazon Prime for a little bit because I was transitioning it onto Film Hub. So it's on Amazon Prime right now, as well as other streaming platforms. As they become more available, I'll post more links below. Also, if you're an independent filmmaker and you want to screw the camera plate onto your camera easily, and you can drop the cord or ditch the cord or grab a Clover Key instead and help support the channel. And also, it's a bottle opener, so. Did you agree or disagree? Comment below and let me know. It's always fun talking to you guys. Until next time, see ya.